Patrick Waugh out, Peter DeBoer in on Long Island. Welcome to NHL Wraparound Quick Takes on April 5th, 2026. Vic Morren, Neil Smith, and for the second consecutive Sunday, a head coaching change has been made in the NHL. A week ago, Bruce Cassidy out in Vegas, replaced by John Tortorella. And on Easter Sunday, Patrick Waugh replaced by Peter DeBoer with 4 games left in the Islanders season.
And all of them home games. He will not coach a road game in the regular season this year. He'll have to wait for next year. From what I hear, it's a 5-year deal that the Islanders gave Peter DeBoer to come to Long Island. And it's sort of shocking. 4 games to go. This doesn't happen very often, and particularly in a situation where a team is trying to make the playoffs. Now, they have lost 4 in a row, which could have been the impetus for this. But for a guy that goes to every Islander home game, it came as a surprise to me.
Do you think this is a matter of Matthew Darche getting out in front of maybe what would happen during the course of the summer? And needless to say, DeBoer has always been one of the coaches that has been right at the top of the list anytime an opening came up.
Absolutely. And it has to be that he's thought that why wait till the end of the season and see DeBoer go somewhere else, perhaps? You know, he saw John Tortorella go to Vegas. Now there's Bruce Cassidy sitting out there. Jim Hiller, who's been a head coach, is sitting out there, and there are others. But he probably thought 2 things. I want to give us a better shot to get into the playoffs or stay in the playoffs. And I also want Peter DeBoer going forward handling my team.
Let's go backwards to Waugh for just a moment. He was hired January 20th, 2024, taking over for Lane Lambert. And the first year, or the first half year that he took over, the Islanders, they did make the playoffs and lost to Carolina in 5 games. They missed out last year, but they were in prime position really for the entire season to get in. There were a lot of heroics, 10-0 overtime record, many multi-goal comebacks that were baked in. And you would think that they were set up to bring this thing across the finish line. They're in a playoff position, had 10 out of their last 12 at home. And then they managed to lose consecutive home games to the Blackhawks, Penguins, and Flyers.
And, of course, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what's going on with the players and what are they saying and what is the feeling about the head coach. We can only go by statistical analysis, and really opinions aren't very valid that are done from 10,000 feet away. But you can say that Patrick Waugh's teams on the island struggled with special teams. Yeah, their penalty killing was better this year, but their power play has not been good the whole time he's been there. The one thing I'm surprised at, Vic, I got to be honest with you, is 2 former Montreal Canadiens, Patrick Waugh, Matthew Darche, 2 French Canadians. I didn't see there being a rift there, but there must have been a little bit of a rift. They couldn't have been as close as what you would think, or this would have been talked through.
But when you see what was going on the ice and those 3 home games that I just mentioned, and after they lost on Friday in a game that they're fighting for a 3rd place spot in the Metropolitan Division, and to come out that poorly, and then even though they lost only 4-3 in Carolina on Saturday, they were outshot in that game 40-16 and out-attempted 82-32. Carolina had 50 more attempts at the net, and for 58 minutes, the Islanders sleptwalked through that game. And that perhaps said as much as what Darche really needed to see in terms of the potential of this team being able to make up the necessary points that they're going to have to do once Peter DeBoer takes over starting Thursday, because the way the schedule is set up, there are going to be about a handful of games that the teams that they are contending with, Ottawa, Detroit, Philadelphia, and Columbus, that they will not be in a playoff spot by the time they resume play on Thursday.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because these teams play each other. So somebody's got to win. So somebody's got to get 2 points. I find it hard to believe that changing one man behind the bench with only 4 games to go is going to solidify your playoff hopes. I mean, there's only so much Peter DeBoer can do, who doesn't even know the team, hasn't been around the team. Maybe they'll put together a string the way Tortorella's Vegas Golden Knights have, but that's a whole different team in Vegas than you've got on Long Island. Matthew Schaefer has been just tremendous for the Islanders and for the league. He's 18 years old. He only played 17 junior games last year. He's got to be tired. He has to be tired at this point with only 4 games to go, 78 games in the books. When I see them, they don't look like they have the energy that they used to have. Will this energize them, Peter DeBoer coming in? Maybe, but how much can it energize them? I don't know. They're going to have to simply win hockey games.
I'm wondering if this is too little, too late at this point. The cutoff point to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference is 95. The Islanders have 89 points with only 4 games left, so they can only max out at 97. So circling back with DeBoer, this is his 6th NHL team. He previously coached with Florida, New Jersey, San Jose, Vegas, and Dallas. And in the end game, is this more a matter of just getting out in front of this, like we talked about earlier, and having him under contract for the next 5 seasons? And you hope you can still get in this year. But the truth is that the math, which was so in favor of the Islanders, is now working against them.
The one thing you will say for the Islanders is they do have one of the top coaches in the NHL now. They do. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about it. Peter DeBoer went to the final in 2012 with the New Jersey Devils as the head coach. He went to the final in 2016 as the head coach of the San Jose Sharks. He's been through the third round 8 times. If you include the 2 times they lost in the final, 6 times they lost in round 3. He missed the playoffs 6 times. The first 3 years he coached were Florida. They weren't very good back then. But that's his record. He's a seasoned coach, very close friends with Paul Maurice, as we talked about when Paul was on our show. He's a very tenured guy. So we'll see what he can bring to the Islanders. If I was the Islanders general manager, I would be doing this for the future, not necessarily as much for the present as for the future.
Well, the future is here for them now, and we will see how this pans out for the rest of the 2025-26 regular season. That wraps it up for Quick Takes. Thanks for tuning in.